What's up, traders? Zach here from the Trading Network. I hope you guys are doing well. I have yet another weekly market profile forecast for you guys for both the ES and NQ futures markets. What we do in this video series, for those of you guys not familiar, and welcome to the channel if that is the case, we discuss market profile analysis based on the session profiles, the weekly profiles, and we also close things out with some weekly candlestick chart analysis. So by the end of this video, you guys will have key levels to take trades off of, base risk off of, and at the very least, if you guys are not quite comfortable trading off of market profile levels yet, you can mark off these levels, which is what I would highly suggest to any of you guys not confident or not familiar with the profile, and simply watch the reaction at these profile levels and watch how these levels become key areas once again to take trades off of, base risk off of, and really just key points of liquidity moving forward into the week. One thing that is so mind-blowing to me still to this day is that price is so orderly in that it just continues to trade back and forth between prior known levels, unless of course we're at all-time highs. So with that said, let's dive into the charts here. We're going to start off with the ES session profile. All right, friends. So what we have here is very similar, even though it's Monday, and I usually do these videos on Sunday evenings. What we're looking at from Friday's profile is really unchanged. You can see today's high was 45.1450. Today's low is 44.90. Friday's low is 44.94. Friday's value high, 45.17. So if you want to keep it very simple, these are going to be the key levels that I will be looking for further reaction to the upside or to the downside. Now, what I mean by that is if we can move and hold above today's high or Friday's value area high, or we could really just draw a range between these two levels. If we can move and hold above 45.17, very likely to see a move to 45.20, 45.30, perhaps, a little pit stop at 45.28, which is the low from last Thursday, and then a move up to 45.36 and 45.40, which is Friday's high. So moving above, at the first and foremost, at the very least, 45.07 is going to very likely get us a retest of today's high at 45.14. Move and hold above 14 likely gets us to 17. And this is why I call it price dominoes, because it really is as simple as just watching for these line in the sand levels to get broken and used as support, or broken to the downside and used as resistance, and that opens up moves to prior known levels, right? So just to keep it very, very simple here, even right now, price is basically at 4,500, right? If we break 4,500, well, our next known levels to the downside are 44.94, 91, 87, right? It's that simple. So that is what I will be looking at tomorrow. If we open up here tomorrow and we can't move and hold above 45.02, guess where I'm looking? Boom, boom, boom. It is that simple. If we move and hold above 45.02, well, we're probably going to get a test of 45.07. And like I said, if we move above that, we've got these higher levels that we will be paying attention to. So mark off at the very least, the 45.02, that's Friday's POC. That's going to be a very important level. Upside targets, 07, 14, 17, 21, 28, 36, 40. There you go. And on the downside, if 02 breaks, 44.94, this little zone between 91 and 90, and then 44.87. And if 87 breaks, which is the overnight low from Sunday into Monday, last night into today's regular trading hour session, we have got plenty of downside levels that we will talk about in the weekly profile, which I will go ahead and switch over to right now. So what we have here is the weekly market profile chart. These profiles represent 1 week of regular trading hours price action. So you can see here how on a larger scale, we have a naked POC that we obviously have not tapped yet in this week's session because today's high was 45.14. So if we do move and hold above 4,500, above that 45.07 level that I was talking about on the session profile, we're very likely to move up and tap this 45.19 level. That is just 2 points above Friday's value area high and 5 points above today's high. So really not far off. We're only about 20 points from tapping this naked POC. And if we can move and hold above this naked POC, 45.25, which is the weekly high from August 21st, is very likely. Then we've got 45.39, that's last week's value high. 45.53, that's the prior week's value high. 62, which is last week's high. And you can see there's great confluence between last week's high and the point of control from the week of August 28th. So that is where the most trading took place in the entire week of August 28th, is 45.62. So that's a very, very important level that you can use as another upside target if we do see, some larger scale buying. Now, of course, we've got 77 and 45.96 to the upside if we get accepted above 62. And if we cannot move and hold above 4,500 even, of course, test of last week's low is imminent. And then after that, I'll be looking at the prior week's low, 44.8350. That's also the value area low from that same week. Below that, we've got 44.72. That's the low from the August 28th weekly profile. And then below that, we've got 44.59. And if 59 breaks, that's a naked POC from the August 21st weekly profile. So if that breaks, look for a larger move down to 44.19 or this zone between 44.19 and 44.1450. So I know I'm moving fast, but I think it's important not to waste your guys' time and get this information out there as efficiently as possible. So if you guys do appreciate me kind of picking up the pace a little bit on these videos, I would appreciate it myself if you would provide that feedback for me down in the comments. So with that in mind, it is now time to flip back over to the session profile. This time we will be looking at NQ. Very, very similar other than the prices themselves. But what we're going to be looking at is today's high. You can see today's high is confluent with the initial balanced low from Friday between 61 and 69. So a move above 61 likely gets us a test at the very least of 45.81. And then a move and hold above 81 likely gets us a move to this 15.530 level. You can see this is last Thursday's low. 15.526 is last Wednesday's value low. 15.529 is the overnight high from Tuesday into Wednesday. And then we have 10 points below that, the value area low from the September 12th session right there. So a lot of good confluence in that 15.520, 15.530 area. If we do get acceptance above today's high at 460 and Friday's value high at 480. Now, on NQ, we are currently trading at 15,412, which is right around the naked POC from last night into today's session. So if we can't hold, call it 15.4K, look for a move down to Friday's point of control, 15.386. That's also today's value low. Great confluence there. And if 386, 388 breaks to the downside, I think we are very likely to get a 20 to 30 point move down here into Friday's low, Friday's value low. And then we've got today's low, 343, and the overnight low at 15.330. So that is what I will be looking at on a session profile basis for NQ. Some really good opportunity because these ranges, generally speaking, are or have been widening a bit. So it's important to be patient. It's important to plan out the trades and know what you are looking for in order to take your setups. But if you can be patient, if you can have a system, if you can have a story or a narrative every single day when you are trading, especially utilizing the market profile, then you will very, very likely have high probability trade opportunity on a daily basis, as long as you are in the right frame of mind to capitalize on it. So with that said, let's pop back to the weekly profile, check out NQ, and then we will wrap up with the weekly candlestick chart. All right, friends. So as it stands for NQ, we have a very, very important level, which is 15,350, basically. That is last week's low. That is also the prior week's low and value area low. And currently, we have tested about 10-ish points below that level, and then buyers have responded to that area. So basically what I'm getting at here is this 15,350 level has got to hold. If buyers can't hold this level, I would look for a high probability move down to 15,294 at the very least, which is the value area high from the weekly profile of August 21st. If we break 15,294 to the downside, that will very likely open up a much larger move, about 100 points, 110 points to be precise, down to that same week's point of control, which is also extremely confluent with the following week's low at 15,180. 15,180 breaks, then that's very likely going to spring a leak and get us some further downside pressure, to the tune of about 200 more points to the downside, I would say, to test that same weekly low there at 14,950. So watch 350. If 350 breaks, look for a move down to 295. 295 breaks, we could see, some substantial downside. to 184 and then even further down. But it's very important to use those session profile levels as well, because price has plenty of opportunities to stop along the way. You know, for example, even if it did break 294 to the downside, there are session profile levels in this area, which will be very, very, very helpful to pay attention to mark off. You know, you can see below 184, we've got a lot of thin structure in this volume profile here. So that would be, you know, this area here is going to be important. You know, this is kind of like teetering on the edge, 140. If 140 breaks, we're very likely to move down to this next higher volume node at 15,075. And, you know, that is something that I'm paying attention to. When there is not a lot of liquidity, you can see that there's less prints here. There's also less prints here. So if we break down once again, look at 350, below 350, we've got thin structure. We've got weak structure, which means it's easy or much easier to move through these areas compared to an area where there is likely dense liquidity, where these bell curves are sitting, right? So not to get into too deep of a tangent, but I want to just make sure that that is present. I mean, look at this. This is thin structure. Very likely, you can see that the subsequent weeks, we did more business there. We repaired that thin structure or poor structure, weak structure, however you want to view it. But that is what price does. When there is weak structure from prior price action, price gravitates back towards that area and repairs it. And that is exactly what we have been doing. And it's possible that we need to repair a little bit lower. And there's a lot of confluence leaning that way. That doesn't mean that I'm going to, you know, immediately look for shorts off the open, but I'm going to watch this once again, 350 level. And if that breaks, looking for a move down to 294. And that might be, you know, a one and done trade or offer up. Significant opportunity for us to lean into. So in closing, I will just pop over to the weekly chart for ES and NQ, give you guys a little bit of a rundown on that end of things, and we will wrap up. All right, so what I have pulled up here is the ES weekly chart. ES weekly chart is pretty inconclusive, similar to last week. We're kind of just in this range, basically between 44.32 and 46.90-ish, right? So this is not a confirmed lower high because this weekly bar did not close below the low of the prior. So that is some hope for the bulls, essentially. But what I am looking for is basically just reaction towards or at this bar, right? We're pretty darn close to the lows of the prior weekly bar. So any close, once again, below 44.94 on a weekly level likely gets us a retest of 44.50-ish. And, you know, if we trade back below 4,400, I think that a test of, you know, around the bottom of the weekly op zone, around 43.50 is certainly not out of the question. And, you know, if we can shape things up and get a close above 45.68 on the weekly, very likely looking for a test back 4,600, 46.60, and then, you know, this swing high that we printed here at 46.90 once again. So that's my thought, just really briefly on the ES weekly chart. NQ is very, very similar. We do not have a confirmed lower high, so I think that has potential to trap a lot of late shorts. But once again, the 15,350 level is very, very important. It was responded to with buyers this morning, but it will remain to be seen if that happens to continue throughout the week. Now, what I will point out here is BBWP is getting ready to curl and cross up. That means that volatility very likely to expand. What direction, we are not quite sure. The oscillators are a bit inconclusive. Fast Stokes trying to curl and cross up, but the slow stochastics here, the green and blue, have quite a ways to go if they are going to give us a full reset. So that is something to be aware of. Close below last week's low at 15,356. Very likely gets us a retest of this swing low here, right around 14,950, and a close above last week's high at 15,734. I'm sorry. Likely gets us a move back up to the prior swing high around 16K. So that's what I will be looking at on a higher time frame scale. Stay patient, mark off these daily levels, mark off these weekly levels. If you guys aren't ready to trade off them yet, simply just watch and see how price reacts to them or around them, and you will very likely be quite impressed in the continued consistent reaction that market profile gives us on a daily basis. So stay patient, stay calm when you're trading. when you're watching for price to react around these levels. They're not going to be perfect. Price will go above them, they'll go below them, but generally speaking, they are respected tremendously. So I hope that this video sets you guys off on the right foot moving forward into the rest of the week. I hope you can take high probability trade opportunity off of these levels if you so choose. And if you find value in this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and click that bell notification to be notified every single time we post videos here on the channel. And if you guys would like to learn more about what we do here at the Trading Network, please check out our website, thetradingnetwork.io, where you can purchase access to our most popular offering, the Trading Network Pro Trader Bundle, which includes lifetime access to our private Discord, where we live stream our trading every single day, Monday through Friday, starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. You also get access to our Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, where you will learn the very strategies that we are trading on live stream on a daily basis in our private community. And last but not least, you will receive access to our proprietary indicators that coincide with the strategies we teach and trade on a daily basis. If you guys are looking for a more one-on-one catered experience to your individual strengths and weaknesses as a trader, I also offer one-on-one mentorship. You can schedule a 15-minute free consultation with me at the link below to chat with me for a little bit, see if one-on-one mentorship is for you. And if it is, I will create a customized plan and program based on your trading experience, and we will get you the results that you are working towards. So if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to drop us an email at info@thetradingnetwork.io. You can also drop a comment down below or hit us up on Instagram at the.trading.network, and we will get back to you as soon as we can and help any way we can. Thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to watch this content. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.